Your starting point in life doesn't have to dictate where you end up. It's all about the actions you take and choices you make along the way. And let's not forget the importance of influence and power. Simply having privilege or education is not enough. We need to harness our knowledge and use it to make a difference in the world. So let's go out there and make things happen because we have the power to create our own destinies. This is how John D Rockefeller opens his letter for his son. So basically, the book which I am doing right now is called The 38 Letters of John D Rockefeller to his son. So the format of this book is entirely the letters that Rockefeller has written for his son, and the intent, the purpose of writing this letter is to advise the young Rockefeller to how to live a successful life. So basically, this is the intent of Rockefeller, and format of book is in the form of letters. At the beginning of each letters, there are some extracts that basically summarizes whole purpose of the letter. Basically, they are the subjects of letter. Now let's get into it. In first letter, he talks about how starting point of life have zero power over how life will be described for a person. It all depends on the actions and choices that he will make, and the people that are influenced by him, or the people he influences. Basically, he is talking about the power, and it is also dependent on the privilege and education of a person. He talks about that how harnessing knowledge must be such that it creates a difference for the people in the world, and he is compelling his son to go out and make things happen. So the key insights that I have extracted from the books are as follows. First, and my favorite one, is how struggle rewards with new skills, knowledge. It sparks creativity in one person. It shapes the character and attitude of a person towards something. It forces one to siege and cherish new opportunities. And struggle is all due to urgent need to survive. This urgency to survive is what we call struggle. And basically, this struggle is all giving. In John D Rockefeller's word, struggle is a bitter medicine. That is, when you take it, it is so bitter to swallow, but it gives you lot of vitality, lots of longevity, health. So basically, he is comparing struggle with medicines that improve the current state of a person. Second insight that I came across was that Creation gives happiness. Creation gives happiness. So, what do you mean by creation? You may ask. So, what I have found that from creation, Rockefeller is talking about two things. First of all, to make things happen. In order to make things happen, one must get out of his comfort zone and stay in the struggling phase and come out of it by making things happen. So basically, it clearly defines the meaning of creation. Second one, second definition of creation is to harness, to use our knowledge. What we know, we must apply to make difference in this world. To make difference in this world means it must affect, impact people and change them, change the way that is things were before and change it into something new. And basically it is what we call innovation. These are the two things that he means by creation. By building things, by making things happen, you will feel the happiness that creation has to offer to you. Second, after second insight of creation, I came across third insight that is basically inverse of the third one. Sorry, second one, that is creation, and it is consumption. And he is totally against the consumption word. He don't want his son to directly consume something, because he is telling by his writing that best way to harm someone is to give them directly something to consume. What does it do to a person's mind? First of all, it corrupts them. It make them incompetent, unable to do anything. As they are incompetent, they are dependent on others to satisfy their needs and wants. They become very much emotionally unstable, and they are focusing on fleeting happiness, as happiness will never be with them. Second, so these three words, struggle, creation, consumption. By the word consumption, it is what I have found out that it is basically a double-edged sword. It can be used to cut something, but it can also cut oneself. So, my creation or your creation must be such that it utilizes consumption. You must consume to produce. Then, fourth insight is about character. Character such that you are self reliant. You rely on yourself only. It basically fosters idealism. Idealism means, by the word idealism, I mean that it gives birth to respect and charisma. Charisma is a means to attract someone, influence someone, and respect is also a form of power. So, having self reliance, being a ideal, is the must. It is a luxury in the words, in the world of John D Rockefeller. So, by having these things, I have come across I have built a model of things that how value system should work. First, and it is divided into three buckets. First bucket is of struggle. Second bucket is of two things. One is creation and another is perseverance. And third bucket, it is filled with idealness. Being a idol. Struggle is the source of everything. It is bitter when you first get hold of it, but as you pass through it, it gives a lot. It's give you ability, experience, knowledge, sparks creativity, changes the attitude. After that comes building. Building is in the form of two things. One must that you must create, second that you must preserve. These are the two conditions of building something. Let's suppose that you are building a business. The source of business is struggle, and creation is making difference or making things happen, and perseverance is not quitting. What do you mean by quitting something? It means that you are starting a new thing over once again, and there is some startup cost to it, and it kills the momentum. Whereas when you persevere, you don't quit and you build momentum. So building it is important to keep in mind what you create and how you preserve. Third bucket, it is about being ideal. Something that is ideal sells by its own. There is nothing that is needed to complement it. Just imagine an ideal product. It sells by its own simply by the words of mouth marketing, because it has the charisma. It has the charisma to attract other people, and it it has some value, and the people respect it, and they presume that its value is worth it. So by simply having these three models, three buckets in your mind, you can have a very well ground understanding that what it means to be successful. Success in the struggles, success is in the creation and perseverance, success in being an ideal person. By having these three things in mind, you are ought to be a successful person. Let's take a look in Elon Musk example of how to be useful and draw some parallels and comparison between the two. Elon Musk says that in order to be useful, you have to see the utility delta of things that you are trying to create against the current state of arts to the scale it impacts. It might sound very techy, but let me clarify for it for you. So, what is utility delta? Delta means change, difference. So, utility means the amount of satisfaction that one get from trying some good. Then there is current state of art. How is the current state of art, and how you are trying to make difference? How are you going to make that thing happen? And skill that is going to get impacted means the number of people it impacts. These are the three things that you have to keep in mind while being useful. So, being useful is simply mean to see the struggle, to create and preserve and be ideal. Thank you for listening all of this. This is Divyanshu Singh and you are watching Biopics. Subscribe and share for more insightful podcasts that are in the line for you to listen.